Happy Thursday, Tina.
Yep, it's Thursday.
They just keep on ticking by.
Yep.
Greetings.
Hey there, Joy.
Programs.
Huh?
Greetings, programs.
Oh, you guys, I'm so sad I'm going to be out of town for this, but at the theater in my town, the guys that played, they were like minor characters in the movie Hackers they're gonna be doing a anniversary release of the film and screening it, and they've got the guy who played like Phantom Freak and I can't remember the name of the other one, anyway, from the movie, and I'm like, that would be kind of fun.
That's
'Cause-
phenomenal.
yeah.
Whatever you got going on out of town needs to be canceled, right?
Well, I believe it is open container plumbing days, container plumbing days. I believe it's next week during open source summit.
Hey, we're all
Yeah,
skipping that.
I know, and I wish you weren't. That's a topic of discussion I would like to have with you all today about what you think I should do. And
I think you
it,
should cancel your trip for hackers
If it
because you
makes you
need to
feel
hack the
better,
planet, Jory.
I'm sure that Chris will understand.
he should.
Something important has come up.
Yeah, just yell hack the planet while you're waving around your floppy disks. He'll get it. He'll understand.
No. Um, what I the topic that I have connected. So obviously that's next Thursday. This time next week. Well, actually it'll be over because it's Amsterdam time. So it's 6 hours ahead. So we'll be done by this time next week. But I have had two cancellations, which is kind of a big bummer.
Speaker cancellations.
Speaker cancellations. Um, and I've got 70 registrants for the event, which is pretty decent for a mini summit. I don't recognize any of the names on my registrants list, because my thought was like, oh, I'll go look and see who's registered for this and see if there's like, some folks who might be willing to kind of pinch hit because they're already going to be there. Um, and that doesn't look like it's going to be, you know, um, possible. I was thinking of opening it to registrants to do like their own ad hoc lightning talk or, demo um, kind of opportunity is one of the options. But then I just wondered if anybody here um, wanted to or would be interested in brainstorming options with me on how to fill out that part of the schedule.
There's also the unconference idea of just have people, when they show up, put things they'd like to chat about on a sticky note, stick it on a board, people upvote them and take those as topics of conversations for roundtables.
Yeah, and I think that might be where we end up going. I just feel not quite as equipped to make sure that that's successful, because this is not my area of expertise. But um, in any case, it's oh, and we're gonna have these recorded. I did go ahead and get a quote for recording the talks, and so we'll be able to post them online and you know promote them. So that's nice. But anyway, let me know if anyone here is interested in brainstorming with me that gap. Or we could just reenact scenes, do a table read of hackers.
Now we're talking.
Yeah. Will that get you to come?
To Amsterdam in a week?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not sure I can swing that even for hackers.
Okay. Thank you for considering it, though. I know you took it very seriously.
I did.
If it makes you feel better, I'm working on a KCD conference to the DC area, and we had a few speakers drop off ourselves, and just getting attendees right now is a little bit of a challenge to sign up, just I think because of everything going on.
Yeah, one speaker said they had some kind of emergency, which that you do have that happens, and then
Yeah.
another. Not sure what happened with the other one, but anyway.
Yeah, we had at least one that changed jobs or something like that. It's like not gonna be there anymore. And one, I think it was a visa issue where they couldn't get into the country.
It helps being in Amsterdam. We're not having that quite as much, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure when they submitted their CFP, things changed since then, and that was not ideal. But yeah, I have very few ideas. I do know that when I've seen these in the past, people show up to these kind of gatherings, and I'd say half of them are just there to chat with anybody that wants to talk OCI, and the other half might have some kind of problem or challenge they're trying to solve. And the last several I've seen, I think, tends to be pretty runtime spec heavy. And so people that don't show up to these meetings show up to those, or may show up to those. All right. As normal, we have no agenda this week. I threw one item on there we can chat about, but really we don't have an agenda. So if folks want to chat about something, let's chat about something. And I've upgraded my laptop, so hopefully it still works. Hey, huzzah, I think it's still working. I just pulled into the agenda this very old issue that I raised a while back, which was that our annotations documentation mentions, here's the annotations you use on manifest and descriptors. But a lot of people, when they look at it, especially because the bottom of it describes the migration from the label spec that people had used a long time ago, that they don't realize the difference between annotations and labels. And so I thought it would be good if we put some kind of text in there about, at least for our predefined annotations, whether or not we expect users to use them as labels, and if that's valid for tooling to be required to look for that kind of stuff. And one of the comments in here was a user that was just like, hey, I ran across this because I didn't know the difference, and it bit me talking to Harbor, which expects it to be an annotation, not a label. And from our view, I think it's like, yeah, Harbor's doing what Harbor said they were doing. So specifically, it's in this section of the annotations markdown file where we say, hey, here are a bunch of predefined keys. Specify your creation time, the authors, all these other things. And we say at the top that this is intended but not limited to the image index manifest descriptor, the annotations that are defined in those fields. So I'm not sure if we want to put an extra note in here that, caution tooling that expects it within those fields may not look at labels. Something along those lines. Labels do not equal annotations. What do folks think? Do we want any kind of text in there to clarify that to help steer users a little bit? particularly label schema down here that says, hey, here are a whole bunch of these old label schema fields. Build date URL, all these things people were using way back in the day. And here's how you convert them. Should we highlight in here that, hey, when you're doing that conversion, you're also converting from label to annotation?
I can give you some off the cuff comments.
I'm happy for off-the-cuff comments.
I think labels should be deprecated. We'll start spiciest and work our way back. We should deprecate labels completely because they're terrible and awful and have a lot of really bad properties. It is reasonable for people to use open containers, image spec, annotation, predefined keys as label keys. It's not great, but it is fine. It doesn't hurt us. It's probably also good to encourage, or rather inform, people who might be setting those labels that tools aren't likely to read them, because reading the labels requires digging into the config blob, as John mentions in this issue thread. Basically, John's last comment in this issue thread is really good. Annotation should be preferred because parsing labels requires reading the config blob, which isn't something that registries typically do. Some registries do, for sure, but not all registries, and they certainly don't have to be a conformant compliant registry that is fit for purpose. But they do have to parse all the objects that have annotations. So it is a reasonable expectation for them to parse and read annotations, and so they are more likely to read and present those annotations to users.
I think I can work around something along those lines.
And that was a really long way to say John's right. I agree with John. I can argue John's opinion here.
I have kind of
Maybe
no
if I say,
objection.
maybe if
I'm
I
thinking
say
along the
John a
lines of
few
like
more times,
implementer
he'll
note.
show up. John Johnson, John.
I
No,
heard he
he's
had
not
a
coming.
fall a while back. And
Yeah, but he's getting better.
yeah,
He
I
could
haven't
be
chatted with
here.
him for a while. I mean, deprecating labels would be a fun start, but I feel like if we're going to deprecate labels, we also need to deprecate the whole root FS in the config, get rid of all those hashes. And we should move the history into an annotation of the descriptor and not in the config. So there's my spicy take for the day. I'm thinking along the lines of like implementer note or a little caution statement in there of saying users may adopt these fields and add them to their labels, but tooling does not necessarily need to look for them there. Annotations do not equal labels in an image, so be careful where you set it and kind of leave it along those lines of just like a little note above those predefined annotations where people are going and looking for them just so they know how to use them properly. And I think that aligns with what both you and John are saying. Other than completely eliminating labels. Anybody else have thoughts on that one?
What if we deprecate annotations and we use refers?
Boo, get out of here, Jeff. I'm gonna stop inviting you.
Oh, sorry. I that's not a serious suggestion. I'm sorry.
I'm ready to do it. Sajay, let's implement it.
Second motion.
That way you can change the author of an image post build. That'd be pretty neat feature.
I want to just add multiple authors with multiple refers to the same image. And then it's potluck as to which one you get.
I mean, this isn't insane, right? Like you could have a mostly empty manifest that is just annotations that has a subject. And it would be fairly lightweight in the data model.
Oh, that's being done.
I kind of hate how my joke of an idea actually has some merit, but I actually kind of like that idea now.
It's a horrible idea, to be clear, but I love it.
But like Saturday says, it's already been done. It's out there. All right. Other than the fun answers there, which I am all in favor of fun answers too. If anyone else has ideas, feel free to chime in. Otherwise, I'll go ahead and put together a small PR there on this one and I think summarize kind of what John and Tianan were both saying.
Yeah, we've stepped away from labels as much as possible in all scenarios, so it's the same. I think we all agree with what John is saying, or at least I do, and Tianan does too.
The one thing I will say is, since when I originally wrote this, I think, without better tooling support for image annotations at build time, that's been changing lately. We've been getting a lot better on that, so this may not be as big of an issue for at least the users. Did I say that whole thing if I might on mute? I think I did. I was just saying I was going to stop sharing since we didn't have any agenda. And last call for any topics before we wrap this thing up early.
I have one other thing I could share and just say thank you. I wanted to say that you may have noticed, but our GitHub org got a little bit of an upgrade to Enterprise, and wanted to say thank you to the GitHub team for their support.
Did that also include the back and forth moves within the LF organization?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what that was about, but we're all good now.
Very good. Now, can we prevent all the spammers?
I'm working on it. No.
I had high hopes, but low expectations. Cool. Thanks, Troy. Last call. Going once. Going twice. Summer hours it is, even though I've seen kids going back to school already. It's terrifying. Have a great rest of your day, folks. Circle back here next week and see where we're at then.
And I'll be out next week, so have a great one. I'll report back from Amsterdam in 2 weeks.
I'm guessing folks here, no one here is going to be there. And so we don't have a reason to cancel this. Do we want to do any, like, are you feeding this to your own YouTube feed or do you want to feed it into this Zoom stream and then I'll post it
Oh,
to
that's
our
a good,
YouTube?
that's a good question.
In the past, I'll just say this, in the past, they've just joined our Zoom stream. It auto records. And then I pick it up and post it up to our normal YouTube channel. But it hadn't been Container Plumbing Days, it's been some of the other OCI gatherings.
yeah. Well, and we're having them professionally recorded.
We've even had professionals go in there and they'll, from their setup, they'll just dial into the Zoom. But that might be depending on the professional. Either way, and if you need any help getting access to the YouTube,
Yeah,
I don't know how much I can give out access, but I can at least post something.
Yeah. Let me talk with Allison for I gotta solve the first problem, which is like the speaker gap, and then and then I'll focus on
Yeah.
the next problem.
All right. Anything you need from me, just let me know.
Thank you.
All right. Sajay, enjoy your couple weeks off. Hopefully a good 2 weeks.
Thank you. Bye.
Cheers all.
Take care.